Tonight on Oswego Now, bird flu cases are on the rise in Oswego County. How it could impact your wallet.
Plus, fire hydrants are becoming inaccessible due to snow. What are Oswego County's plans?
Oswego is expecting more bad wintry weather. What you should be expecting.
This is Oswego Now News.
Good evening and welcome to Oswego Now News. I'm Seth Appleby.
And I'm Nasir Miko.
There's 4 feet of snow on the ground here in Oswego County, and the weather is hot, or should I say the cold topic on everyone's minds.
Oswego County was just placed under another winter weather advisory. Oswego Now meteorologist David Rienzo has more on how to stay safe and miss the cold weather.
That's right. I certainly hope everybody enjoyed their 4-day snow weekend. By day 4, I was actually excited to go back to classes. But we'll have to see if we get some more snow days coming up. We are currently under a winter weather advisory due to lake effect snow. And we're also going to see some more snow at the end of this upcoming weekend. And after this weekend, we'll see some warmer temperatures start to move in. But first, let's talk about this winter weather advisory currently for Oswego County, as well as just south of Lake Ontario. So what we can expect, this is going to continue until midnight. So what we can expect is some visibility reduced 2 to 4 inches of snow, as well as slippery weather conditions. So if you are going outside, please be careful. Now I will throw it back to the desk. Back to you guys.
Thank you, David.
With bad weather comes bad roads.
Our Zach Greenspan has how the city of Oswego is adapting to the icy weather.
Thank you, guys. Oswego County approved a budget amendment of $500,000 for road salt for this and next winter amidst the recent storms and rock salt shortages. With this increase in funding, Oswego will ensure they have enough rock salt to get through this season and the rest of next season. And it will allow a surplus of rock salt that will prepare us for the winter of 2026. Oswego County has been hit especially bad this winter, which impacts both the town and the college campus. Now, back to Nasir and Seth with information about removing snow from Oswego's fire hydrants.
Thanks, Zach. Oswego Mayor Robert Corradino is asking city residents to help keep the city safe following recent winter storms.
Oswego Now reporter Riley Jones has the details on the latest request from the mayor. Riley?
Thanks, guys. Following recent weather, I spoke to the Oswego fire chief about some of his main concerns for the city.
It's no secret that this year has brought some of the heaviest snowfall in recent memory for the city of Oswego. But aside from dangerous road conditions, the snow is bringing even more safety concerns for the city. Mayor Robert Corradino is asking residents of the city of Oswego to help clear snow off of fire hydrants across the city. The city of Oswego has over 900 fire hydrants, and they can get buried under major snowbanks as plows clear the roads. An issue that, according to Paul Canzone, the fire chief for the West Side Oswego Fire Station, can lead to some serious problems.
Our people work 24 hours a day, but we also have training, we're responding to calls, and work details that we're doing. So trying to fit everything into one day while keeping our people safe is challenging. So we appreciate the mayor putting the plug out.
Helping clear snow off of buried fire hydrants like this one behind me can help save time in case of an emergency and possibly even save lives.
Again, it's mutually beneficial. We're trying to shave seconds off our response times. We're trying to get, in the case of fire, we're connecting hoses and things as quickly as we can. So if our hydrant's buried and we have to shovel it out, it's going to take us more time to put the fire out, rescue people, things like that. So we have great support here in the city.
Following the heavy snowfall seen this weekend, first responders are already working to keep the community safe. And helping clear snow is just one way to make their jobs a little easier. Riley Jones, Oswego Now.
Be alarming. Chief Canzone once to let everyone know that the first responders within their department are specially trained to be used to the snow conditions. And this weather is nothing they can't handle. That's all for me. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Riley. A pileup of over a dozen cars has caused road closures in Central Square. All lanes on I-81 northbound between exit 106 and 114 have been closed. At least 13 vehicles were involved, 3 of which are said to be tractor trailers. As of now, an investigation is underway, but no injuries have been reported.
It's driving the price up of eggs. Now the disease responsible for the death of thousands of chickens has made its way to Oswego County. It's commonly known as bird flu, and it's killing geese in our region. Oswego Now's Alex Brummer has more about the dead bird and what it means for you.
In the village of Phoenix, it's common to find geese by the Oswego River, but lately, more residents of the village have been finding dead geese.
The last 2 weeks, I can walk out to the river and find a handful of them at any given moment.
The CDC tested the dead geese, and they have tested positive for highly pathogenic avian influenza, one of the deadliest forms of bird flu. The bird flu can be contracted by contact with a sick bird, and if a person gets infected, they can feel symptoms like a cough, fever, sore throat, muscle aches, headaches, and shortness of breath.
When a person catches the bird flu, it's just like a person catching the regular flu. It could take you a week or 2 weeks or even 3 weeks to get better from it, and it's all the same symptoms.
The disease can also infect other animals like dogs and other household pets if they come into contact with an infected bird.
We can also catch it from these birds. So going from a pet to a person or from a person directly by touching one and not being properly protected. So that's the big concern, it going from the birds to the people.
I reached out to the Oswego County Health Department, and they sent back a statement saying, quote, "While the risk to public health is low, the Oswego County Health Department reminds residents to follow safe, sanitary practices to avoid infection. If you see any dead geese, please take precautions when approaching it and be sure to wear gloves and a face mask to decrease the risk of contamination." Alex Brummer, Oswego Now.
With spring approaching and more birds starting to migrate north, health officials are likely to see an increase of bird flu as we see an increase of birds.
A new push is underway to give Safe Haven Museum National Park status. Tucked away in Oswego, New York, the museum tells the story of nearly 1,000 Holocaust refugees who found sanctuary at Fort Ontario during World War II. The Safe Haven story began in 1944 when President Franklin D. Roosevelt authorized the emergency refugee shelter, the only one of its kind in the country.
If this part of Fort Ontario becomes a National Historical Park, it would provide national recognition and prominence to the Fort Ontario Emergency Refugee Shelter story. It would bring many, many tourists, to Oswego to visit, and then it would boost the economy through tourism. But people would learn the story and the significance of this museum, which is the only actual Holocaust site in the United States.
If successful, Safe Haven would become the first national park dedicated to the Holocaust refugee resettlement, ensuring this little-known chapter of history is preserved for future generations. Advocates say that the process requires a detailed review of bipartisan support with the backing of local and national leaders. Supporters hope that the designation will become a reality.
This is a great uniting project. Everyone is behind this. Our elected officials, our public, our mayor of Oswego, Rob Cordino is great, County of Oswego. It's a great uniting effort. So it's fantastic.
For now, the Safe Haven Museum continues its mission educating visitors and honoring the refugees who once found shelter here, as it awaits a future among America's most historic landmarks.
Coming up after the break, prison guards are striking across New York State. How the governor responded.
Plus, it's been pretty cold in Oswego County. What you should wear outside with this weekend with Oswego Now meteorologist David Rienzo. Only on Oswego Now.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back, viewers. Right now in Oswego, there's some flurries right now with temperatures at 20 degrees, and that wind out of the west at 13 miles per hour is making the wind chill feel like 8 degrees. And now 13 miles per hour isn't nothing, but compared to what we saw last week, it feels like light. So this is the last 30 days, but if we look at just these last 7 days, you can see this was our first snow day, the 14th, and then on Monday, the daily average wind speed was 25 miles per hour, and most of the maximum gusts were at 40 miles per hour. So that is why the wind, and that's why the wind was so dangerous, because it was exceptionally cold and it was blowing all this snow around. Now on the snow depth, you can see that lake effect band that was sitting for days, and it left a perfect impression, some places receiving up to 4 feet of snow. Now in Oswego, for this season, we have received 89 inches of snow so far, and that puts us down by 22 inches because the usual average by now is 112. But we still do have a chance of receiving some more snowfall because of this winter weather advisory that's in effect until midnight. So we can expect some more snow tonight, as well as some strong winds and some possible driving hazards tonight. Now, it's a little hard to pick up on, but this is the snow that we're concerned about, that gray mass right there. That's going to turn into some lake effect tonight. Now, it's a little difficult to see as it all just flew by, but tonight we'll see some moderate snowfall, and then that'll clear out into Saturday morning. Saturday looks pretty nice. We'll stay dry throughout the day. It's the beginning of Sunday that we start to see this snow band set up again early Sunday morning, but then that'll drive out as Sunday gets going. And then we have another system moving through by Monday afternoon. So for the next few days, we're seeing most models are agreeing at least a few inches of snowfall for Oswego. And now after all this snow falls, we'll stay cool for the next few days, but then we finally see some warning as next week gets started. So let's see some more details there. Saturday looks nice, staying cool, where Sunday, that's when we see that morning snowfall start to set in. But you'll notice that on Monday, the high is 42 degrees. We finally are seeing some warmer temperatures stick around for the beginning of next week, maybe melt off a couple inches of that snow. And then temperatures steadily start to fall as we go back into cooler temperatures by the end of next week. That's all for my full forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, David.
Fans are packing New York City Midtown Court for the status hearing of 26-year-old Luigi Mangione. Mangione is facing an 11-count indictment that includes first-degree murder. He has pled not guilty on state charges, but has yet to enter a plea on federal charges. Mangione's next appearance in federal court is set for mid-March.
Prison guards across the state are striking in protest of working condition. Governor Kathy Hochul has declared a state of emergency and deployed the National Guard to help combat the drop in guard numbers.
Coming up, we're going to sit down with a disease epidemiologist to fill us in on what we need to know about this year's flu season.
That and more tonight on Oswego Now.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire.
Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to Oswego Now News. Our Nasir Makel sat with communicable disease epidemiologist Matt Goodsell to talk about the ins and outs of this year's flu season.
Thank you, Seth, and thank you for joining us today, Mr. Goodsell. I want to start simple and easy. What is the flu?
Yeah, absolutely. So the flu is a respiratory pathogen caused by the influenza virus. It'll have a variety of different symptoms. Primarily, it'll be those respiratory symptoms, that cough, sneeze, sore throat, runny nose. Those generalized symptoms for fever and body aches, chills. It's going to vary, though, depending on the person's own immune response and the type of flu that they end up getting.
Can age be a factor?
Age can absolutely be a factor, both in terms of who gets the flu and how bad they can get it. So with severity, your at-risk groups are going to be your younger people, especially school-age kids, and then down to babies, and your older folks. They can get it pretty severely as well because of immune-compromising conditions. For transmission, it's going to depend on how you can get it. So with the flu in particular, it being a respiratory disease passed through the air, those close quarter settings, everybody hanging out together, spending time together, yelling, screaming, singing, dancing, those are the ways that flu can spread. So that sounds like, an elementary school classroom to me. So
can population density and population growth be a factor in it? So coming into a new semester of college?
Sure. Yeah, population will also really heavily affect this. So cities can see flu, but the big thing that we've noticed is it's not just dependent on the cities, it's going to be all about where the people are. So we're seeing it in the North Country where there aren't quite as many people, and that's why we use incidence as a measure instead of just raw case numbers, because that's the number of cases per population.
So we follow your dashboard that you have. We're gonna plug you in that one. And we noticed that there's been a rise from last year to this year.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? What's the difference between this flu season than last flu season?
Yeah, so the adage in public health is if you've seen one flu season, you've seen one flu season. It's really tough to predict how one season is going to behave compared to other seasons. So just because we're seeing a peak at this time or more cases at this time last year doesn't necessarily mean it's more severe. It could be a result of increased testing. It could be a result of the different population that we're seeing flu in. Last year it was really heavily in that 0 to 19 age range, but this year we're seeing a lot more cases 20 and up. So it's just all about how flu affects the population.
So many take the risk of either not getting the flu shot or getting the flu shot. How does it work? How do people know that the flu shot is effective?
Sure. Yeah, so the flu shot works by, it contains 3 strains of flu, the 3 most commonly circulating strains, 2 for flu A and 1 for flu B, and it includes an inactivated or dead version of the virus. And this flu virus prompts an immune response after you're injected with it, which then gives your body the protection to fight off the flu if you were to get the real deal. So it is safe and effective. If anybody has any questions, we urge them to talk to their primary care provider or another medical professional. But other than that, it really is the best way to protect yourself against the flu.
Is it too late in the season? This is going to be my last question.
I appreciate you asking that because it's absolutely not too late. Flu season can last all the way until May. So now is still prime time, especially we're seeing a lot of flu A right now. We'll probably see flu B later in the season. So if you want to protect yourself from that, flu shot's your best bet.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Goodsell, for all
pleasure.
the information. We'll send it back to the desk for Seth.
Coming up after the break, we have a check on local high school sports, plus a big ice hockey matchup at SUNY Oswego. Stay tuned.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and get my high school diploma.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane! Woo! You got this!
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Welcome back. I'm Casey Sell with your Oswego Now Sports Report. The Oswego men's hockey team has a big weekend ahead with 2 SUNY Conference games. Tonight, they travel to North to face SUNY Canton Kangaroos and look for the season series sweep. Tomorrow night, they host number 14 Cortland Red Dragons at the Deborah F. Stanley Arena. All 3 teams have clinched playoff spots, but if Oswego beats both Canton and Cortland this weekend, they clinch the number 1 seed in the SUNYAC playoffs. A week later now, and the campus is still talking about WTOPT making history with their 2nd annual all-women's broadcast that took place last Saturday. 21 women, both returning and new members, came together to run an all-female talent and control crew to bring on this special production. SUNY Oswego senior Melinda Brancata says this is an experience that promotes women in the sports industry.
Besides last year's all-women's broadcast, I've never seen it be done. That's not to say that it hasn't happened before, but I think that's something unique at SUNY Oswego, that value, that emphasis on women's sports, women in broadcasting and broadcasting sports. I think it's something special at SUNY Oswego.
It was a big day for the All-Wins broadcast and the Oswego Lakers as they took down the Mooresville Mustangs in blowout fashion, 9-1. The Fulham Girls High School bowling squad is headed back to the state tournament after finishing in 5th last year. After capping off their undefeated season with a Section 3 title 2 years in a row, the team looks to finish the job this year. The 4-year varsity bowling coach George Beckwith says it's going to be a tough battle ahead.
It's going to take a lot. The kids are going to have to bowl and bowl exceptionally well. Slightly different format this year. I think they're going with 6 bowlers and dropping the lowest score, which for teams like us, I mean, we're okay. We've got 7 solid bowlers.
The Bowling State Championship takes place at AMF Strike and Spare Lanes in Syracuse from March 14th to March 16th. Moving over to the high school level, the Oswego Buccaneers boys basketball team looks to take down Whitesboro in the opening round of the Section 3 Class AA playoffs tonight. Oswego came out on top in the only regular season meeting between the two teams, 83-68. Tip-off is at 6 p.m. at the Layton Elementary David Powers Gymnasium. Sandy Creek's Hudson Hunt is Oswego County's Athlete of the Week, which recognizes top performers from all varsity sports across the 9 county districts. Hunt recently reached a milestone that only 7 other players accomplished in his high school's history. On February 8th against Camden, Hunt scored 19 points, which was just enough to put him in the 1,000-point club. Sandy Creek takes on South Louis tonight at 6 p.m. in the Section 3 Class C play-in round. That's all for your Oswego Now Sports Report. Now back to the desk.
Over the past week, we've definitely gotten our fair share of snow. If you find yourself another day at home, here are a few activity ideas.
Make a pillow fort or play some board games. Get outside and play in the snow. Just be sure to wear proper clothing, as it only takes half an hour for frostbite to set in. After all of that, grab some snacks and have a movie night.
I gotta say, it's been a while since I've done a few of those things. Cup of hot chocolate, that sounds pretty good right now.
Of whipped cream.
Yep, that's pretty good. Talking about the snow, they said that, or you said that it only takes 30 minutes to get hypothermia, so you gotta be careful out there. I'm sure our weather reporter David, he would be super on you about that.
You'd be mad about that.
Yeah, but I can't wait to go. We have a huge pile at our house right now. I want to build a snowman. Shout out to Frozen, but I want to build a snowman. What about you?
We gotta go sledding.
Yeah, I don't have a sled.
Gotta embody the inner Frozone, go down the ice.
Yep. But I don't have a sled right now.
We gotta go on a trip to Walmart.
That's true, yep.
A Walmart trip? Okay.
Well, thank you for tuning in to Oswego Now News.
Have a good night, everyone.